Okay. Scoot a little bit more back. Okay. Season 2, episode 2. Excuse me. That happens when you drink cola. Pepsi. I did a Scotty Tries short on this. Check it out. But season 2, episode 2, Frank Stein. Don't know if that's the character's name, but that's the episode. And episode title. There's a lot. We spend a lot of time with the villain of the episode. It starts with our villain, this professor guy who has a unibrow and a hunchback sidekick, named Edgar. They mentioned Igor earlier. Igor in the pilot, and he says, "Well, I'm a werewolf. I need an Igor, don't I?" And Tommy's like, Igor was great and somewhat of a hunchback goon, but yeah. So we have Edgar, and yes. So they make a monster. And the monster is stupid. I love the line where he's like, "It's alive!" And the guy's up. And then Edgar's pointing and he's electrocuting. The monster's electrocuting himself. Okay, stupid. But alive! I love that. And then we cut to opening credits, which I realized this time, it's mostly the original credits. Original from season 1. Added some new stuff for Merton because of his hair changed. New stuff for Laurie, obviously, and a couple of inserts during the montage sequence. TNT is Elvis, both dressed as Elvis for an episode I'll talk about in a little bit here. And Laurie's tied up, which is another episode I'll talk about another day. But yeah, they kind of added some stuff, but there's a lot of stuff still from season 1, like fighting the librarian as a ninja, or they're getting blown through that door thing that's in there every time. So there are some stuff from season 1. The shots with the football team at the beginning are also from season 1, but they cut out the Stacy going like this, and instead they cut the new shots of Tommy, Merton, and Laurie. So yeah. So anyway. Merton is going to be in the Quiz Bowl, and he needs a partner. He's talking to this guy named Fielding, who has been his rival, but he wants him to be, because it's about smart. And Fielding's like, "No, I'm with Gertie." I do love how he's basically, Fielding tells him off and takes off in one direction. Gertie comes walking in from the other direction. He's like, "Hey, Gertie." Merton's like, "Hey, Gertie, gonna be my Quiz Bowl partner?" And she just didn't give her this extra any lines. She just went and walks off, and all she does is just stand there for the majority of the episode. Fielding does some things, at least had some lines, but so he ends up asking Tommy, who is nervous because Laurie seems to be onto the fact that he's the werewolf. So they're doing this where they started with the whole, love interest doesn't know. She's more than just a love interest. She's sort of part of the crew. She's not technically part of the team yet. But she'll get there. She's basically right now a better version of Stacy right now. She's sort of oblivious, but she's smart. She's trying to figure it out. Something Stacy should have figured out a long fucking time ago. Honestly, he runs off. Then there's a Wolfman sighting, and she doesn't figure it out. Then the Wolfman goes away, and Tommy shows up again. She never figures it out, though. It's frustrating as a viewer, especially now. When I was 12, I just thought, okay, this is cool, werewolf. But now, as an adult, rewatching these, the first season was kind of frustrating. I do think the next 2 seasons are probably better once we get going, but yeah. So Lori is close to figuring it out. She's trying to, she wants to figure out who the werewolf is. She has her suspicions, but and then, so she goes to Merton's house, somehow knows where he is. I know she paid off the librarian to tell her who checked out the book on lycanthropes, and so they gave her his address, and she just shows up going through one of those. I swear there's 2 doors to that lair, but although she was there in the previous episode, I just remember now, she was there in the last episode, so she knows where his house is. I don't know what I was thinking, but she walks in and she's like, "Oh, you have these books." He's like, "I have no idea about this lycanthrosis you talk about." And she's like, "Oh, really?" And she starts naming off 3 books in a row that have lycanthrope in the name. And she takes the books and just takes off. He didn't believe him at all, but yeah. And so the quiz bowl, Merton is killing it. Tommy is kind of nervous about it, talking to Dean. Dean says, "All my time watching the game show network has taught me that when in doubt, say Harry S. Truman. A 33rd president is the ultimate answer," which does pay off, believe it or not. We cut to a montage of the quiz bowl where TNT supposedly think that the capital of Alaska is living la vida loca. Look, they're not that stupid, okay? Why would they think that the capital of Alaska is living la vida loca, the name of a Ricky Martin song? I think it would be funnier, make more sense if they said, what's the capital of Alaska? The A? That's a good one, Travis. No, I'm sorry, no. Juneau? I knew that right away. Juneau? Do you know that the capital of Alaska is Juneau? Yeah, and he starts getting a bunch of them. Right. And then so he ends up going to the finals, which is awfully quick, against Fielding and Gertie. It's on Fielding. Nobody beats the brain. And of course, at some point before this, we did cut back to our villains, who are, where the Dr. Frank Stein is like, "How could this happen? I told you to get a good brain." He's like, "I did, master. It was the brain of Timmy, the village idealist. I did." "You mean idiot?" "Yes, that's exactly what it says." "Moron! No, you were right the first time, idiot." I love that joke. And he's like, "You hunchback idiot. Oh, please don't talk about the hump. I don't make fun of your unibrow." But yeah, he's stupid. So they need a smart brain. So they're gonna go after Merton's brain. Something came to me during the finale of this. When they got Merton tied down, they're gonna take his brain, right? And he explains. He goes, "My monster is stupid. I need a smart brain." So Merton's is the one they go after because he's one of the main characters, so of course they go after him. Why doesn't he use his own brain? Edgar knows how to use the saw thing, so why not sedate the doctor, hack his brain out, put it in the monster, lightning on execution, and you have a smart monster. It's all about, I want a smart brain, but I don't want to sacrifice my existence, right? But he's all about, I want to show the people who told me I was an idiot, told me I'm stupid, told me I had no idea what I was talking about. Wouldn't it make sense if he uses his own brain to do that? That would make so much sense, wouldn't it? Just something popped in my head. But no, he disguised himself as John Smith from the newspaper, I don't know what it was, the press, the Pleasantville Press. And so, yeah, he lures them out, him and Tommy. Monster knocks Tommy on the head, but Tommy wolfs out. And, he would have taken care of it. Then Lori showed up. And this is where I think Lori has actually figured it out. Because they make a point that when they go to the factory, that Lori, everywhere they go, Lori seems to be. So she's following them to make sure to see if Tommy wolfs out. So she followed them, and she was a bit behind. Obviously, she followed them. She's right there. Tommy wolf's out, and then she runs up and sees the wolf. And she's like, "It's a werewolf." I don't know why she's so shocked. She's seen him before. Sort of, I guess. She was knocked out. This is the first time she's actually seen him, I guess. And then she gets knocked out again by Edgar, who knocks her on the head with a cane. And so she's out. And then when Tommy goes to save her, he gets knocked out again. And then they leave with Merton. So he rescues Laurie and de-wolfs. Wolf's in. I don't know, de-wolfs. And then takes her to her house or to some steps. And she's like, it's weird. The last 2 times now both times now that I've seen the werewolf, you're right there shortly after. He's like, yeah, what a coincidence. Oh, you don't think I'm the werewolf, do you? She's like, are you? He's like, no, I gotta go. What do you mean? I just got knocked out. He's like, I gotta go. And he takes off so he can go save Merton. He somehow figures out where they are. Oh, he smells the Joy Luck Special Good Flakes that Merton was eating earlier. And so, because it's supposed to smarten the brain. So, they're like wheat germ or something like that. I don't know. That's what it looks like anyway. Oh, he does it. Anyway, so he follows the smell. He says he'd be able to smell it without the wolf powers, but I don't know. It's just online. I don't think it would make sense. So he gets there, beats the monster senseless, basically. He fights the monster, rips the monster's arm off. He knocks out Edgar first, and he goes against the monster who goes after him. He rips the monster's arm off, and he's like, you see that? He usually whops him upside the head with it, knocks him out, and then saves Merton, and then Doctor's like, would you consider donating your werewolf head to science? And then knock him out and leave. And that's it. That's how they defeat Frank Stein here. I was like, wait. You just knocked him out. Didn't destroy any of his stuff. So, common sense would dictate that they would just, regroup and kidnap him again and take him somewhere else where Tommy couldn't find him. They set up a new place. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. But yes. So Merton ends up winning a quiz bowl because Tommy pulls the winning answer out of his ass. Well, sort of. It's actually Dean who does this because the final question is, what former U.S. president used to own a haberdashery? Wouldn't you know, the answer is Harry Truman. So, because Tommy answers, he's sitting there playing a Game Boy, which I feel like they wouldn't allow him to do. I feel like they at least allow him to have to sit there. But he's not. He's sitting there playing the Game Boy the whole time. I wonder how many batteries he went through. Because those things aren't rechargeable. Those are batteries. Changed those things so many times, man. Growing up with Game Boy. I had a Game Boy Color, which was pinkish. I liked red. I didn't have just a plain red one with a Nintendo. And then I had a white Vance, which was white. Because, again, they just have red. They had white. My sister had like a blue see-through one. No, she had a pink see-through one. And my brother had the blue see-through one. Excuse me. And then I had the Game Boy SP, which I did have in red. And there was a silver one, too. But I had a red one. No, at some point. Was it me? Anyway, I have a red Nintendo DS now. 3DS. Anyway, enough of that stuff. So yeah, they win, and I guess the monster is now the shop teacher, which they say that it was an easy job to get. You didn't need experience. You have to go to school to learn how to operate the tools. You gotta have like a operating permit for those things, right? You would think, at least. What do I know? Yeah, and then it ends with them, the two of them by the locker, and Tommy narrates saying, I think Laurie has finally gotten off my trail, and she comes out of the class going, I don't think so, Tommy. I don't think so. But yeah, another solid episode. This is probably, I don't know if it's one of my favorites, but it's one I've watched a million times because, at least the first half. I used to record a bunch of stuff on VHS tapes when I was younger. I had this episode on a VHS tape because it was at the end of the VHS tape. It would cut off before they fought, before he found Martin. I think he finds Martin and it cuts off there. I think, or maybe they go to. Maybe it's after they go to. They say, "Hey, I'm John Smith," and they leave. At that point, I think it cuts off, but it cuts off at some point. But I just remember the dialogue with the Unibrow and stuff like that. I remember that. So this is what I've seen over and over again. But yeah, not bad. On to the next one.